Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and today's EFC 24/7 report. And the main news coming out of Everton today is unfortunately bad, and that is that Yerry Mina has suffered a thigh injury that's going to keep him out for several weeks, and obviously he's going to miss the resumption of the Premier League in the middle of June. Not sure how many weeks, just says several weeks, but whether he'll miss the rest of the season or just the start of the rest of the season remains to be seen. But it's a big blow for Everton, who are short on the ground and centre-backs, as we know anyway. So we might see people like Jared Branthwaite, a young player who signed from Carlisle, on the bench maybe in the next few weeks, because we are obviously quite short on the ground at centre-backs, and that's an area which we will be looking at strengthening this transfer window when it eventually happens, if it eventually happens. We know from the news that came out from the Echo last week that Everton will be looking primarily at loan and swap deals, but I'm sure a centre-back will be part of that. So we'll look at some rumours as well, but some more news coming out. Solid news is coming from Paul Joyce, saying that Everton are hopeful that the Merseyside derby with Liverpool will be staged at Goodison Park. The club has now requested Liverpool City Council's Safety Advisory Group is convened, and a meeting is likely to take place next week. I think Merseyside Police have already said that it would be safe to hold the derby at Goodison Park. Obviously, early in the season it was held at Anfield, and the crowd are not going to be there, of course, but I'm sure it would help the Blues to be in familiar settings rather than somewhere like Villa Park or Wembley, which were also rumoured if it were to be a neutral ground, but I don't think that would be preferable if we were in Fortress Goodison, where Ancelotti's had such a good record since she's come in. I'm sure that would help rather than being on a neutral ground. Moving on to some transfer news, according to Nico Shearer of Transfer Market, Everton are preparing the first bid for Alan, the central midfielder of Napoli. The Toffees could offer €30 million to Napoli for the Brazilian midfielder. Obviously a player Ancelotti's fond of from his time at Napoli, and he's been rumoured quite heavily linked with Everton quite heavily because of that good relationship between the player and the manager. And obviously we need a centre mid, with Gabami being pushed back again. He's going to be injured till next year, so we are short on the ground at centre mids, quality centre mids. We've got a few centre mids, but not quality ones, so I'm sure we'll be looking to strengthen in that position. Another Napoli player who's worked with Ancelotti, obviously in his last job, is Jose Callahan, and according to Arena Napoli, Everton contact has been registered with the Serie A side over Callahan, and Carlo Ancelotti has previously described Callahan as a very important player to his then team, and he could be important to Everton in the future. That's a link coming from Napoli themselves. It seems like a lot of rumours linking Ancelotti with his former players is coming out of Italian outlets and not really coming out of British outlets. So whether they're rumours that the club are conjuring up to generate some interest around those players remains to be seen. And another one I put into that bracket probably is a rumour coming out to do with Jean-Clair today, who's currently on loan at Schalke. But there's news that's come out today that Schalke have let the option to make that loan move permanent from Barcelona expire. So he will be looking to be moved on by Barcelona this summer. So Sport have said his future points towards Everton. Sport is a Barca outlet, really, coming from Catalonia, and the club sometimes generate interest around their players through that outlet. As far as I'm aware, that's where my personal opinion anyway. But they've claimed that Tadebo's future now points towards the Premier League and towards Everton. So it would be a good addition to the squad in my opinion. But another player who's been quite heavily linked with Everton repeatedly in the past. There's a couple of others as well. We'll go through a couple of those. Donny van der Beek is one of the players who was left at Ajax after Frenkie de Jong and Matthijs de Ligt left that successful side of the Champions League run a couple of years ago, and he's left there, but he's been rumoured to be leaving ever since. And apparently Everton were interested at some point, but that's pretty much out the window as outlets. Todo Fichajes have said that that's a Spanish outlet, have said that Real Madrid are now interested in the player and have submitted a bid, apparently, worth €45 million, which I don't see Everton do anything like this summer. So Everton are out of the race to sign Donny van de Beek, if we were in the race in the first place anyway, which I doubt. Another name, just the final one to let you know about, is Adam Maricic, who's been linked with Everton, a 21-year-old. He can play at right back, who PSG have been looking to sign a replacement for Thomas Meunier, who Everton have been linked with in the past as well. But Le Sport in France have said that Everton have entered the race to sign a 21-year-old. He can play midfield, but he can also play at right back. Obviously, we might be in the market for a right back. We've got a couple of options, whether to permanently sign Sidibe, whether to bring John Joe Kenny back, whether to persevere with Seamus Coleman, of course. But there's another name linked. But most of these rumours are coming out of foreign papers who have links to the club that the player is at. So yeah, I wouldn't place a lot of trust in those rumours, because they seem to be coming out of outlets close to the other club and not close to Everton. So whether the extent to which we can trust them is debatable, but let us know what you think of those rumours anyway in the comments. But yeah, the main news today is the Yerry Mina injury news, and that derby, the location of the Merseyside derby on June the 20th will be decided next week. So we'll get that box sooner rather than later. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video and join us next time on the Toffee Blues.